Hello internet people, and welcome to my second video on individual board games. My first video on a Pyramid of the Penguin, which is up there, it did quite well. I got a lot of good feedback, a lot of good responses, nothing really negative. So I figured, you know what, I'd do another one. So, excuse the tea, let's have a look at Back to the Future, Back in Time. It's a game for 2 to 4 players, ages 10 and up, by Funko Games. I think I probably told you that in the last video that I did where we showed this with my boys. Now, in Back to the Future, you're back in 1955, the whole of the first movie pretty much. And the idea is you've got to keep Marty's parents in love, fix the DeLorean, get the DeLorean onto the street, and get the hell back to 1985. How does it play? Let's get it to the table and find out. So here we have the basic setup of Back to the Future, Back in Time. Let's go over the components and see how it plays. Marty, Doc, Jennifer, Einstein, George, Lorraine, and Biff. The DeLorean. Challenge dice. Starter power tiles. Reward power tiles. Reward items. The How Unconscious is Biff tokens. Non-player character movement cards. So that's George, Biff, and Lorraine. You've got your love meter. The turn tracker. An awesome looking comic. Oh, no, wait, that's the instructions. My bad. And a clock tower dice tower. Nice. So the first thing you do is to pick your character. You've got Jennifer Parker, whose special ability is to move Marty, Doc or Einstein up to 2 spaces towards her. Doc Brown. Once per turn, he can go to the DeLorean for free. Marty McFly. Once per turn, he can move Lorraine 2 spaces towards him. And Einstein, he gets to chase off Biff. As long as Biff is within 1 space of Einstein, you can move Biff up to 2 spaces away. Good dog. So throughout the game, you'll be completing various challenges which will help you complete your overall goals of fixing the DeLorean, getting it to its end spot, and getting Lorraine and George to fall in love. This challenge in particular, Doc's going to try, and that's to collect the gas can to fix the DeLorean. In order to complete the challenge, you need the 2 green symbols. Doc's the best one to do it because he gets 2 green dice. So you'd roll the dice, and let's say that was the end result. You got 2 of those and a wild. You could also complete it if you got 2 wilds, or 1 and a wild, or any combination. Other challenges include punching out Biff, getting George and Lorraine to fall in love, and this is the DeLorean challenge. The idea being you've got to move the DeLorean along the DeLorean track 1 space at a time till it gets to Doc's house. When entering Doc's house, you need to make sure you've got all 3 parts: gasoline, cable, and the hook. Once all 3 parts have been collected, start moving down the road again, resting one of these 3 places. Doesn't matter which one, as long as you're there. The way to do that is you need to be next to the DeLorean. Einstein's the best one to do this. He gets 2 yellow dice. Every time you roll one of these symbols, you get to move the DeLorean 1 space. And a wild token also counts as 1 because they count as any symbol. Every dice has got one of these on, so you don't have to use yellow dice, but yellow dice are the ones that have these symbols on, not the most of them on, so they're the best ones to use. So Einstein will roll. Ignore Biff. Let's turn him into one of those just for the sake of the demo. And, moves 3 spaces. So 1, 2, 3. There you go. So that's that. If Einstein wanted to move the DeLorean again, he'd have to sacrifice one of his dice tiles to move. Or Doc Brown could do it. He could move there because that's his ability. He always can go straight to the DeLorean. But here he doesn't get 2 yellow dice. In order to fix the DeLorean, you need to find these 3 parts. These will be located at the clock tower, which is over here. The South Shops, which is over there. And lastly, Hill Valley High, which is up here. Once you collect those 3 parts, they'll be at docks, all ready to fix the Delorean. So, whilst you're trying to repair the Delorean, and bring it to its final 3 spaces, or one of them at least, the third task you'll be doing is trying to make sure George and Lorraine fall in love and stay that way. And the way you do that? Roll your challenge dice. Love dice in this case. Now, we rolled a biff. Let's deal with that in a bit. First of all, we rolled a heart, which means you get to move this 1 space on the love meter. Isn't that cute? But why move it, you say? Well, at different intervals during the game, you get to do a photo check. And if this cube is not in one of these 3 spaces, then you start to be erased from the timeline. If you're unlucky enough to land in one of these 4 spaces, 2 parts of the photo are flipped over. It's not good. Once all 6 parts are flipped, it's game over. So this is the turn tracker. This one in particular is for 3 players. 2-player and 4-player on the reverse side of the board. You'll be taking each one of these steps all the way to November 12th, 1955, 10:04 p.m. Even if you've completed all the tasks set for you, which is repairing the Delorean, getting it to its final space, and making sure that George and Lorraine are in love, you still have to complete all these steps. Just make sure you're ready on the final day. The turn track is marked by this orange cube, so let's go there. Hello, Doc, how are you doing? So, first player will take a yellow trouble card and a movement card. Let's have a look at those. A trouble card. This is a yellow one. They come in 3 different varieties, from not quite severe to pain in the bottom. The further you get into the game, the harsher they are. Let's have a look. So, Gangs eggs George's house. The location is George's house. The effect, move George to George's house. George cannot be escorted or moved by a movement card. You get 1p power-up token for completing it. You've also got that symbol, which is what you need to roll in order to complete the challenge. Okay. Next up, the movement card. See? Movement card. There's even a nice key at the top here, just so you know what's what. Alright, this one says, move Lorraine counterclockwise 3 spaces. And there's a Biff symbol. Biff is a nightmare in this game. So let's move Lorraine counterclockwise 3 spaces. Let's do that. There's Lorraine. 1, 2, 3. There you go, she's at Doc's house. Now let's deal with the Biff side of it. So Biff will always move towards Lorraine if he can. If he ends up on Lorraine's space, and you reveal a Biff token, or Biff symbol even, then that'll affect your love meter, and it'll go down 1 space. And considering you need that up to complete the game, that's not so good. But for now, let's put Biff all the way back up there. Okay, so let's have a quick example of a turn or 2 in this game. For the purposes of this, I'll be using Marty and Jennifer. I'm on the 2-player turn tracker, so I stick that on there. The first thing I've got to do is take a trouble card, and then a movement card. So let's have a look. First up, the trouble card. Gang wrecks George's bicycle at the South Shops. The love meter cannot be raised by more than 1 per turn. Draw 1 power-up token upon succession for your reward. And to complete this challenge, you need to get a yellow symbol up there. Or a wild symbol if you haven't got any yellow dice left. Let's stick that in the South Shops where it belongs. Next up, movement. Move George counterclockwise 3 spaces. Okay. Now, when it comes to movement, your characters go wherever you want, as long as it's up, down, left, right, no diagonals. Biff, Lorraine and George cannot enter the town square, and there's a reminder there for you. Okay. Other than that, they move left and right and go around the board. But the movement said move George counterclockwise 3 spaces, so let's do that. There's George McFly, counterclockwise 3 spaces, 1, 2, 3. Now I did say activate Biff once, so Biff will always move towards Lorraine, if you can help it. If you're told to activate Biff on the space that Lorraine is already on, then you're going to lose 1 of your love meter points, and that is not good. So let's move Biff 1 space towards Lorraine. Now it's Marty's go, so he's going to try and knock Biff out, because that's what Marty does. So let's use a yellow to move. 1, 2. You don't have to use all 3 spaces just to go where you need to go. Okay, so where we need to go. So now let's spend our 2 blues to try and put Biff out of action for a little bit. Oh boy. Okay, so now I did roll a star, but I rolled a Biff. Normally that would make Biff move, but because I rolled a star, it doesn't. All that does then is cancel out the star, so nothing happens. Let's fiddle with things a bit here. There we go. So if I'd rolled 3 stars, that means I would have hit Biff 3 times. The first punch knocks him down. It's kind of hard to grab things when I'm holding a camera. The next punch would add one of these tokens to him, which means every time a Biff symbol is drawn, one of these tokens gets taken off the board, and then he stands up. But for now, we've got 3 hits on him, so that's 1, 2, 3. Sweet dreams, Biff. So, with Biff down and out of action, Marty's going to use his special power, which is to move Lorraine 2 spaces towards him. Let's do that. 1, 2. Okay. Now he's going to look at his tiles and see what he can do. Right, well, he can use the green to move up to 3 spaces. Now, when moving with either George or Lorraine on your space, you can escort them, but remember you cannot go take them through the middle square. So Marty's going to take Lorraine over to George using the 3 spaces he just got from the green dice. So it's 1, 2. Once again, you don't have to move the whole 3. So now Marty's over there. He can attempt the love challenge if he wants. So let's have a look. 1 love challenge coming up. 1 pink dice, that's all he's got. Biff! Oh, that sucks. So, we get rid of one of Biff's tokens. Unlucky Marty. Biff's starting to come too. Right, next up, let's have a look. It's Marty's got no tiles left, so it's Jennifer's go. Let's move the turn tracker 1 space. She's got to do a movement card. So let's have a look what movement card we can pull off. There we go. Move Lorraine clockwise 2 spaces. Activate Biff twice. Oh dear. So, Lorraine, move clockwise 2 spaces. 1, 2. Biff gets activated twice. And now he stands up. 1 gets rid of the token, the other one stands him up. And now Biff can start moving around the board again. Oh dear, oh dear. Right, so Jennifer is going to look at her dice. And she's going to be like, okay, well, I need to get George and Lorraine back together. So, let's start off with green, because she's not going to be trying for any Delorean parts anytime soon. So, she's going to go 1, 2, 3. Next up, she'll try blue. Do the same thing, because once again, she's not going to be trying to knock out Biff. But she does want these 2 to meet. So 1, there you go. Now, she is in the same space as the Delorean, which means she can attempt to move the Delorean and do the love challenge at the same time, because she's got 2 pinks and a yellow. Now, at some point in the game, you might get a special power-up token, which you can place on your board, which would give you 3 dice. But, unfortunately, the game has a limit which says you can only use 2 dice per challenge. So that wouldn't really come in handy. Well, it might give you an extra yellow, but... Okay, so for the purposes of this challenge, she's going to be trying the love challenge with 2 dice, and a Delorean challenge with 1 dice. So that's 2 pinks and 1 yellow. Alright. Now this is an interesting roll. Firstly, Biff activates. So Biff will move 1 space towards him. Okay, now what we could do is we could raise the love meter by 2 and move the Delorean with 1. That's probably a good idea. So let's try that. So we raise the love meter by 2, Delorean move by 1. Because wilds is any symbol. And that can get us to complete challenges a lot quicker. So that's how the game is played. You'll continue to move up the turn tracker, and when it gets to one of these spots, that's when you check the love meter to see whether or not your little white cube is in the hearts or not. If it's not in the hearts, you lose a piece of the photo. If it's in the minuses, you lose 2 pieces of the photo. Later on in the game, that can get quite nasty, and you have to check it twice. But there you go, that's Back to the Future. Spend the whole game fixing the DeLorean, moving it to Doc's house, getting it to its final resting space, and getting these 2 fools to fall in love. Isn't it sweet? And that's how to play Back to the Future Back in Time. It's a fantastic game, great co-op experience. Challenge though, that difficulty curve, might not be for everyone. I think I played it 6 or 7 times, but only won one of them. Yeah, that turn tracker really catches up to you. A couple of rules I forgot to mention. One, you cannot wail on Biff when he's down. I know we all hate the guy, he's the main antagonist, and to keep beating him up or keep laying in the punches is really tempting, but you can't kick a guy when he's down. It's just not right. The second rule, those opportunity cards, the challenges, the ones scattered around the board that gives you extra power-ups or inventory items. You must always have 3 of those on the board. So you do one, take it off, replace it. Other than that, fun game, fantastic experience, loved it. And the components are awesome. That Delorean, sweet. But yeah, I don't know what I'll cover next time. There's a game called Adrenaline that my kids really enjoyed that wasn't mentioned in that first video I did. Might give that a shot. But yeah, let us know in the comments or message me or whatever, and we'll see how it goes. Till then, take care.